riches. Loving favor rather than silver and gold. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. That was Matthew 5:16. Previous one was Proverbs 22:1. I can't do two things at the same time. I can't read and move this thing. So Wesley is making me use this thing today. But what comes out of the mouth proceeds from the heart, and this defiles a person. Matthew 15:18. And finally, Matthew 12:34. Brood of vipers, how can you, being evil, speak good things? From out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. There are hundreds and hundreds of verses in the Bible that tell us how we should pattern our lives and how we should conduct ourselves each day to be good examples to others, to show the world that we are Christians. Each and every day, each hour, what we do and what we say, not just what we say, but our actions, define who we are. Make no mistake, people, that where you work, where you go to school, people that know that you're a Christian watches you. They see what you do and how you act and how you conduct yourselves. So, it's very hard sometimes to be nice to someone that's not nice to you. But throughout the Scriptures, we're told how we are to act and how are we to behave. So we're to choose our name over riches. I've known a lot of good men in my lifetime. Godly, God-fearing men. We've had many here. The one that I looked up to most of all, and many of you don't know him, is Mr. Bob Sperling. He's from the Union congregation. He had a third grade education. Well, actually, he didn't finish third grade. But he raised a family that were all godly children and raised them, and all their families were godly. We would go out to eat, and you couldn't sit in a restaurant without someone coming up and hugging Bob Sperling around the neck and saying, "Bob, I love you." He was a ball coach. He did many, many things. I never heard him say a cross word about anybody. He was a good man. Brother Ernie here. Well, there's many that when you mention their name, a smile comes on your face, and you can say he was a godly, faithful Christian that lived that faithful Christian life. And there's people in your lives now. There's people in here right now that I would say are great examples of a Christian living their faith every day. So let's all try to do that, especially me. I'm talking to myself. Every day, what we do and what we say defines who we are. And when our days are almost over and stuff, when someone mentions Robert Nance, what comes to mind to when you hear that name if you knew me? Is he a grumpy old man? Is he lazy? Was he only faithful on Sunday? What kind of person? What comes to mind when you mention someone's name? And that person is the only one that builds his reputation. And that reputation is built on what he says and what he does. How we control our tongue. How we treat others. And I am a firm believer. Don't tell me how good a Christian you are. Show me how good a Christian you are. Your actions tell me what kind of person you are. Every day, not in this church house or this building, but out here dealing with everybody every day. Show me your faith. Because I truly believe that your actions show me where your heart is. If your heart is truly with God, your actions will show it. You can't fake it. You can fake sometimes, but you know the old story. You can never remember a lie forever. It's going to come out. So, you can't fake your actions. Your heart's going to define how you act. So we must, every day, make sure our heart is in the right place. What our priorities are, what we are to do. And if we do that every day, if we try to do the best we can, we're going to fall short. We're not going to always do the right thing. But it's important that people know and see that you're a Christian so they can say, that person's special. But just not for that. What does God think of you? We can go along, we can fake it all we want to, but God knows our heart. And He knows where we're at. You always hear these questions about if you could ask Paul one question, or if you could ask this one question, or that one question, what would it be? My question would be, am I that good and faithful servant, or have I failed? There are many examples in the Bible of great men that we can pattern ourselves after. I look to Barnabas. Barnabas is my favorite. He wasn't that great leader that stood out above crowds and stuff and led. He was down in the shadows in the back, encouraging others. You know, the little dispute that Paul and Barnabas had over John Mark. Paul wanted to give up on him, but Barnabas took him on his side and see what happened. So, as we go through our daily lives, each and every day, we need to look into our hearts and say, are we doing our Christian duty? Are we living that faithful life? Are we doing and saying what we need to do? Because our ultimate goal is that life in heaven with our Christ. That's where I want to be. So, best you can, try each day. If you're having a bad day, think about it. What would Jesus say to me, looking down on me of how I'm acting today, every day? And when someone mentions your name, they'll say, that was a good man. He helped everybody he could. He lived a faithful Christian life. If anyone is here tonight that's having some problems, having some difficulties, that has not lived up to what they think they need to be doing, if they need the prayers of the church, tonight's the night to do it. Get right with God. Start off new. If you haven't accepted Jesus Christ as your Savior, now's the time to do it. We're ready. If you need to put on baptism, we're here for you. If you need anything, come now as we sing this song.